My people, my friends, welcome back to this channel called The Real Feel. If you are new to this channel, I appreciate you. I thank you for the subscriptions. I appreciate your support. Yeah, let's grow this channel. I'm back for another episode 14. Just to note, I deleted the very first episode that I have. If anybody notices why the numbers are the way they are, I deleted the first episode, and it took me a while to decide if I was going to or not, and I decided to. If you go back to my other videos, it will probably explain a lot more what I'm going to, because I have a few things to talk about. I have like 3 things to talk about, and if you wait around, I'll let you know the third one in the end, if you stick around. But the first one is like, just wanted to like put it out there about the brand Me Life. Welcome back to The Real Feel. Welcome back to Me Life. Welcome back to the outdoors. Welcome back to New York City. I'm just kidding. I'm in my town. I'm not in New York City. I luckily got this spot where I'm at right now. Well, I wanted to sit here a few times. I mean, yeah, I enjoy shooting the videos outside, and especially when I have a chance to. And I do have a chance to do it indoors somewhere if I want to, but especially when I have a chance to do it outside, like, why not take the real feel outside, and why not take the true feeling and give you all, I'm hoping you guys can hear me all over the place. I have mics, but it's not compatible with this phone, unfortunately. But yeah, just to point out, you don't need anything like crazy special. Like, I have an old school like Galaxy, but I worked with Android for years. Yes, I do want like an iPhone or really like good high quality like Galaxy, so I can shoot, be comfortable shooting better, videos and stuff. But yeah, this is The Real Feel. And to talk about the brand, like where it came from, I've mentioned it, I've thrown pieces out there before, but Me Life, like even the spelling, like, was thought out. Even how it's spelt was thought out. Even that in general has a meaning and a strong like meaning behind it, because I was always different, and I was always, we're different, we all say we're different, but I always felt growing up, or like in my life, that I was different from my surroundings, and where like the black sheep, as they would call. And I was always, it's still to this day, I get overwhelmed and I type too fast, or I'm better with my spelling nowadays in paragraphs and how I structure certain things when it comes down to it. But the spelling, like, and how I grew up, I was not good in school. I was not good of how I, wrote stuff out, how I read books or anything, and so spelling was like, so Me Life, the M-E, small m, and then the big L was a sign, or just like a thing from me, a personal thing from me, was like, I didn't care, I wanted to make it unique because I struggled with the spelling, but I wanted to make it pop because, the spelling, right? Just, it was part of me, and it was something that I struggled with, and I didn't care. I knew eventually I was going to learn something, or how I was going to learn. And nowadays, like, I can, read. I learned to rap or learn to write through reading. Like, I read the newspaper every day. I'll never forget that time. How I wanted to learn how to structure, how to rap, or get my words right, was what I needed to start to read, and I needed to find something interesting to read. So at the time, I chose the news, and I chose the newspaper, and it taught me how to write. It taught me how to structure words, and so I started reading from there, and then I started writing, and then I started learning how to put my words together and speaking to things I never knew that I made fun of and put down growing up. So then Me Life, the M-E, small m, big L, that's where it was part of. That's where that came from, and that's why it's so sometimes, you know, it's so personal. It's an emotional connection, not personal, but it's like emotional connection with my brand. And that's where and then again, it's like, and then from my life, and I was like, well, I can't put on a t-shirt. And even back then, like back when I was like 14, 15, even younger, there was those stands in the mall with those t-shirts that had those like fun quotes on it. I've thrown pieces out there before, but I'll tell you that, like, that's, and I even said then, I swear, I said this in one of my podcasts, that I said, I'm gonna make t-shirts one day. I want to put fun quotes out there. And I was young at the time. I even knew at the time, I knew at 16 that I was not right for what I was doing and listening to the path that I was told to go on. And like, I knew, right? I just didn't know how I was gonna get there or how I was gonna do it, right? Eventually, here I am today, right? That's, you know, but I said I wanted to do that. And even then, and then throughout my life, being like the doubts and, like, you know, made fun of, and again, it's not a victim thing. It's not, again, but this is not like a victim thing for anybody that explains this stuff. And like, we're talking, it's your story, this is what you went through, this is how you got here today, this is where the path was, this is how the stones were laid. And that's, you know, and I was put down a lot throughout families, friends, like just people I was surrounded with. And so then I was like, you know, so the spelling thing, and then this is where I wanted to be like, okay, I'm making this the brand, right? Because throughout my old videos, again, I'll put the link in the description, I've mentioned Me Life for a long time, but I just didn't put it out the way I have now, more in the past 6 years. But even from the doubts and all that stuff, I was like, you know, fuck them, whatever, like, this is my life, like, this is me life. And I'm like, I can't just put my life, so I'm like, me life. I'm like, you know, all the doubts, I can do this, look what I did so far to get where I was then, like, what did I do to get there, how it came about. And I was like, no, this is me life. And it was like a mental thing where I was like, no, this is like, I can take back control of my life. Screw what everybody else is saying. I'm going to take all the things that I learned, all the talents that I have, all the things that I know and that I've tried to build throughout the time. And that was even struggling through addiction. And then when I came out of addiction, that was like, I'm going to use me life. And it just kept hitting me in a certain way where it just was lifting me up. And it was like, I was like, no, this feels like something. And then I put it out 6 years ago into the ether. But with so me life. And again, I didn't want to put my life, because you can't just put, you know, I needed something unique. And I was sitting there with me life for a while in my videos. I was sitting there with like so many different things with the brand, but I have this such emotional connection with it, because that's truly, and even to date, that I'm learning with it, that it's helped me to this day. It's like, no, like, this is, and it's hard to build something like that, and if you know, you know. But again, the spelling the spelling alone has a personal thing, or I mean, it has a deep, like, connection with it, and I have this deep emotional connection with just that alone, because I wouldn't be able to rap or anything or learn if I didn't stop at the time, 17, 18, started writing. But my videos didn't start till later on, but just like going through those certain steps of trying to, you know, figure out where you're at in life and through your life. And then when I was going through addiction and I was trying to get out of it, I was creating this me life thing, and I just kept saying it. I needed this intro and this outro for like my videos, and I needed this structured thing at the time I was learning. So then I started bringing up what I always said to myself, or I was saying to myself, and at the time I just thought it was a selfish thing, but it really isn't. And I've learned that over time. But at the time, I was just saying it, and then 2 years or a year close to like actually getting off of drugs, I was like, I kept saying it more than normal, or sorry, more than usual. I would like bring it up. I would like say it in my videos, and then I would start saying, this is like the true, real feeling. This is how it feels. This is what you can go through, and then again, the last part was when I was getting out of my addiction. I was like, no, I'm gonna bring this into something. I'm gonna get off of drugs. I'm gonna get back into making more videos. I'm gonna push it out for everybody, because I don't like to see people go through the same thing, because I had that much empathy where I even see it, or like, it's like, fuck me, because I get it, you know what I mean? And I hate for the ones that don't get it. I don't hate, but it's hard, but like, man, and that's why I'm here educating, and that's why I'm trying to put it out there for the ones that don't get it. And really, if you like me, but you like my stuff, and you don't understand what's happening out there, then I can be your guidance towards it, to help it understand if you run into it, or if it's in your family or something like that. So I wanted to bring it out into that, and then 6 years ago I started doing it, and then here we are today with it. But again, I'll put that link in I think I forgot last time, but I'm going to put my link in the description. Go check that out. My old videos my old videos start in 2015. I want to say 2015. And then if you really, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot, but if you just skip through them and kind of like get the gist of it, you'll understand it more of what I'm saying now than probably, I don't know, than I'll probably ever say, because you'll see it and you'll understand. You can't write this, well, you can write this, but you can't make this shit up. Like, it's not something I can sit here and script and look at a piece of paper and be like, yeah, I'm gonna say this is what I'm gonna say. Like, you can't fucking make this shit up. And yeah, the emotional connection with it is when it wasn't, or when sometimes it's not going, and I'm understanding this now when I say this, when it wasn't going like my way, and not my way, but it wasn't going the right way that I thought, or it wasn't flowing the way I wanted it to flow, I get frustrated, and then I get mad at the fucking people, or I get mad at this, and then, you know, I'm learning how to do that now, more now, how not to, and try to like, because it's that personal connection I had to let go of, in a sense, because you get personal, you're like, but this is like, it's like they feel like you're hating you, right? Or you feel like they're not liking you, or like whatever you're doing, but it's not that, it's the fact, it's a whole other different ballpark when you're doing this stuff, and you're building of what, again, I'm learning from it. So it's not it's a hit or miss with some things, and then you just gotta put your fucking work in. You gotta put your, I said it before, you gotta put your steps in. And I'm struggling with it the past like couple days. I don't know what it is. Well, I do, and like just financials, and just I want to keep doing this, but like support, and I know how much work it takes, and I'm just like struggling, right? Like, not like wanting to give up, I'm just struggling, and I gotta be careful of like how I approach it, right? But back on the brand is how I wanted to push it out, and then, yeah, again, here I am today with it. In recovery, I heard this the other day. Well, I've mentioned this before, but how they said it, I was like, yeah, that's kind of how I explain it, in a sense, in the way I put it out there and try to educate people with it. But this person said, just because you're clean doesn't mean that you're recovering. And think about that. Listen to that and think about that for a second. Just because you're clean doesn't mean that you're recovering. Meaning, one second. Just because that you're, there's a lot of people, you can get off of drugs, you can get don't drink anymore, whatever addiction you have, you can be like, I'm done, because you can have that strength. I've had that strength, and people do at the beginning of recovery. So if you have the strength where you're gonna do it, right? But then a lot of people fall back and fall backwards, or they go back into the same patterns. I did that after my first 6 months of like recovery off drugs. I went back for like 2-3 hours. I did it, and I was like, whoa, never touched it again after that. But the point is that I thought I was on this high, as I call it, this good high. You're like, oh, I'm doing it, but I wasn't really like recovering. I was more distracting myself, thinking that I was like, okay, I'm clean, I'm recovering. But I didn't have time, or I didn't give myself the time to focus on what was really putting me in that position, putting me back into like doing drugs, and like putting me back in this circle. So you really have to, and again, that's recovering, right? You're recovering from what put you in those positions to drink, to do whatever addiction or whatever it is that you're doing. And it's yeah, so just because you're clean doesn't mean you're recovering. And I don't want that to get misconception, like twisted up, where I'm like, I don't believe, like, that's a fucking hallelujah to you getting clean. It's not hard to like be where you are 4 or 5 months, 6 months to a year, maybe longer. But I know people that are 6 months, 7 months, a year or longer that are clean, but they're in this, like, they're not recovering from what, because at any moment, at any time, they could just fall backwards, or they'll get back into this like mood or this mode. And again, I'm not preaching where I'm like, you're not doing good. I'm just saying, are you recovering? Like, you're clean, but are you recovering from the things that were putting you in that position? Are you recovering from the traumas? Are you recovering from the past shit that fucking came to your life or messed with your life? Sorry. Are you sitting back thinking about and like working on healing those type of things, and actually like putting in the work of recovering off the drug or whatever it is, whatever you're recovering off. But just because you're clean doesn't mean you're recovering. And it's not a shot at anybody. This is recovery videos. These are people that are like, have good followings and helping people and putting stuff out there and guiding people. So this isn't coming from someone that's like against it and saying like, oh, just because you're clean doesn't mean you're recovering. Like, just because you're like, no, they meaning that like, are you recovering? Are you like going through the steps and going however you're doing it, right? I don't preach a certain thing, because I'm not for like aiming you towards one thing. I'm just whatever's helping you or whatever's putting you through. Like, are you recovering? Like, you got clean, okay? You got clean, that's good, okay? You got clean off of your drug or your alcohol or whatever it is that got you, was just tearing your shit up, okay? You got clean, good. Now, are you recovering? Sitting back thinking about those things. Though that's like the main goal. And again, I'm not perfect with this. I have my ups and downs with it, but I believe, and I've done my clarification with certain things, that I'm pretty sure that I'm doing okay with certain things that I've learned from, and I'm healing from, and I've healed from. And there's a lot of things that I'm just coming to with. That's why I've talked about certain stories that happened a year ago with like relationships and my mom and like the fucking, and my addiction or like alcohol and stuff, is because I'm coming to and I'm realizing I had to let things like go in a certain way. Like, I was like attached to this thing, to like this emotional attached to this thing that wasn't really real. So like, I don't know where I was going with it. But anyways, this yeah, I forget what I was saying. I wish I could be like, hey, can you guys remind me what I was saying? Because I forget what I was saying. I forget, because I get trailed off and I forget what I was saying. The Real Feel podcast, y'all. The Real Feel. Yeah, oh yeah, but I was talking about the clean recovery thing, getting clean just because you're clean. Because I've been healing from, yeah, I believe that that I've done my healing with that stuff. Okay, so the things I was talking about, that's where I was trying to get to, was, yeah. So that's so I believe that I've like done what I needed to do, or you know, that's why I talk about those certain things now, because I'm coming to, and it's like realizing more. But I also want to approach it a little different, and I really want to like guide and like try to help in a sense, and try to help people understand that are going through it. If you're going through it, if you know somebody that's going through it, because man, like even through my relationship, I fucking like, it's not fuck what I've done and fuck what I said, because it was some fucked up shit how I reacted. But you know, being abandoned so many times and not knowing what the fuck is happening or what you're doing, and it makes you so goddamn fucking confused and lost, is that you totally throw everything away, and it's your choice because you don't know what else to do. So you keep focusing on the thing that's really not changing or doing anything. And so I got caught up in that situation, and that's part of the relationship thing. So I'm healing from like, you know, this bond that I thought was real. And I don't care what anybody says. And again, this is not shots at anybody. This is telling my story because I know people are going through it. And for men and women, don't, you know, like really focus on like breadcrumbing, and like you gotta focus on like consistency. Not focus on the breadcrumbing, but notice that what breadcrumbs are, and you gotta focus on like consistency and things that are taking accountability and things that are real consistently from the start. It doesn't happen and then start to slow down and then say fuck it, and then like, oh, I give up because you're reacting to my bullshit, and then it makes you go, what the fuck just happened, because I was reacting to your fucking bullshit or whatever it is. But don't like yeah, it's like hard to yeah, being like, yeah, it's back and forth, and I had to get out of that because I was so used to like being in that spot, and I didn't even know what to do with myself after that, because I didn't even know who I was anymore. And these type of people will do that to you. You know, they call them fucking, you know, these people that have these mental issues, let's just say, and they're sick from certain things, and they're just not sick, but they just have these traumas that they went through and these past things that they went through. So they're trying to fucking, you know, trying to figure it out themselves. So sometimes they don't even understand what they're fucking doing. But it happened. That's why I can't say it, you know, I talk about it because it happened. No matter what, it happened. And I went through, and again, with my mom, after I went through the relationship thing, like, for a whole fucking year, how, like, deny it or not, it happened. For a whole year I didn't know, and this was the last few weeks when I started to expose more things. I started to actually stick up for myself and be like, no, this is happening, what's happening? And then they were like, poof, gone. But then in that midst of the last few weeks of the final fucking walk away, or not really final, but Sal never coming back, but that was like the 10th fucking time. The whole year before that, maybe 6 months, let me give it 6 months, but it's not the point. That every, like, you know, thing, my mom was going behind my back saying to me that, oh no, I got you. I always thought my mom had my back with like certain relationships, and then until I went through this one. And it's not like, man, I regret it, why did I? No, I learned from it. I went through that shit, and it made me come out as a stronger, better person and more aware, because I went through that. And I was realizing my mom's been fucking lying to me for the longest time. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've done some reactions. I said I've done some badass fucking shit. I fucking stole from my mom before, like in the past, like I've done growing up or whatever, and I fucking, you know. But now I'm realizing more that I've like really there was no allowed for emotional thing. It was just like, oh, don't worry about it, whatever, and discarded and fucking manipulated to like make you feel bad for her, and fucking all this shit started coming out more, realizing what my mom, it's not even about my ex really, it's about realizing what the fuck I was putting myself in, what positions I was putting myself in. And thank fucking God I survived in a sense where I understand. Like, a lot of people don't make it out. A lot of people like get still stuck, or they'll go back to it because, again, you get this trauma bond, as they would call it. You get this bond, and you think that it's real, and you think that, like, oh, but then again, you gotta do the healing. That's what I mean. When you do the healing, you'll understand it more. You'll see it. Like, do the research, watch the videos, talk to somebody, fucking put it out there, fucking talk about it with, think about it for a minute, and you'll understand later on. It will take a lot of time, and you'll understand what you went through. And then on top of not going back to the same bullshit, continuing on in your life, you'll never do it again, and you'll be able to see it more than you did before, right? So if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to wake up to my full potential to doing this. Oh, you could have did that when you're in a relationship. Oh, you could have did this when, no, like, I tried because I loved the kids at the time, or I loved her, and I thought I was going to marry her. She was the first person I bought a fucking something for, like a necklace, ever in my life. So it was something that I thought was, was something. And I was there for the kids, trying to help them, grow, and I did a lot of things with them to help them learn. And then it would just go back to the same BS of what they were used to, or what she was used to. Again, no shots at anybody, just talking about my experience, trying to be more open and vulnerable with it. So I'm not, it doesn't seem like I'm just saying, hey, I'm okay, or I went through this, without explaining little pieces of it. But yeah, so, and again, this is why it's not shots, because I understand the mental. And then with my mom, because if it was that fucking, like, it's bad, but like, I need to get out of that situation, like, fucking sooner than I had to learn through this process. I understand that, but I have to get out. But I still love from a distance, where I'm like, I get it. You just have to, like, I have boundaries set now, and I really, like, stand firm on them to, like, protect myself. And I don't care for someone to be like, oh, you're not like that, or you won't do. No, I won't do that, say that, whatever, any certain things anymore, because it put me in those certain situations for fucking many years. And again, it's not even about the recent ex. It's about just for years that I've been going through this myself. It's not even about what they did or anything, or what they need to do. It's about what I need to do for myself to not put myself back in those certain positions, in those certain situations. And that's how, you got to think about, as yourself, if you want to heal from that or get through this type of stuff, you have to realize that too, because it's not about what they're doing. It's about it's not even that you're doing anything like crazy bad. It's just shit that you went through in the past, that you're used to doing this circle and being stuck in this trauma bond of your life. And you just have to get out of it, so you don't put yourself back into the addiction, or the bad relationship that you're in, or let those people heal themselves. Let them go heal. And if they're not meant for your life, then they won't. You'll be able to protect yourself now, so you'll see it coming. Even from a distance, you'll see it coming. But that, that's recovery, and like the healing. And people think, some people, because I do talk about a lot, recovery, healing, my brand is mixed in with everybody, life, recovery, everything. So I kind of like it. Some people can probably get confused, but like, healing is like healing is the part I started a year or so ago, back in March, April. I started, like, kind of under May-ish, but like a year ago or so, I started, like, healing and really like, oh shit, like, this happened. Okay, I'm gonna go through this. And fuck me, has it been a rocky road. But look where I'm at today. Look what I'm doing today. Nothing like too massive, but I'm doing something where I'm trying to put it out there, and trying to do it a different way. But when I say healing, that's what I mean by the relationship thing. Healing from my past traumas, my mother, like, still, I'm still super, and once in a while I get back to this thing, and I'm like, I catch myself, and I'm like, no, don't catch into the bullshit. But that's what I mean by like healing. When I say healing, I talk about healing most of the time. It's healing through recovery and stuff too, but when I brought that up more, the healing path is like, that's what I'm trying to heal, of like what I fucking went through of myself throughout my life, so I can do better for myself and my path and what's coming into it next, right? But along the way, you're gonna get those things, and I preach it so many times, you're gonna get those certain things coming back, and that's you telling you that you're like, hey, you're still doing this certain thing, so this is coming back. And then over time, it gets easier to see, so you'll be able to fix it, but they're still gonna come back to test you. It's not gonna test you once and you're like, okay, I got through it. No, it's gonna keep coming back in small pieces after so long. And then when you healed and learn from it, it will put you into your, as I say, your next step and your next level that will give you that oomph, that is putting you where you want to be for your passions, for your life, for your family, for whatever your goal is and whatever you want to be doing, because you can do it. It truly is like, and I know, oh, I'm stuck in this situation, and I get those parts, because in certain situations you're kind of like, you can't get to that next level unless certain things, even though you've healed and gone through other things and whatever, but there's that one thing, like my living situation, like I'm taking a massive risk right now with it, and I'm happy in a sense. It's hard and it's a struggle with my business and my brand and everything, and this is what I'm supposed to be going through, or this is what every creator, big creator and business person went through to do this stuff. Is I'm taking a risk, because at any moment I could not have a place to live, or I have to be back into a shelter, or I could not see my animals for a while, or something could happen in a sense. I have faith, and I'm well protected in a sense, and believe in the universe that I can be protected through these things, where I'm not going to put myself back in that situation again. But again, that takes me too, like my actions, but also I trust the universe and my higher power that we're going to get through it, and they're going to guide me through it. But I'm also taking a risk, because I like financially, and like I'm struggling, and I look for work, and it's hard to, I can't get it. I mean, I'll work, I'll make money right now, small money, whatever, to get me through, to get me by, but I'm really truly focusing on the business and the brand and what for the people. That risk that I'm taking to build this is what's gonna get me to where I want to be. And if I have to step back for like, not long, but if I have to do a little like break or something to do something to give me an oomph, then I'm gonna do that. But right now it's like, I'm just doing what I'm doing. And I like saying that. What are you doing? I'm just doing. I'm just doing. Like, I'm just doing. I struggled yesterday mentally, physically. I made it here today throughout the supports and like the clarification, and to go, okay, this is just a moment and this will pass. And here I am today, and I feel a lot better, even though with the struggles and stuff that come with it, I'm doing a lot better than what I was in that moment. But again, I had to go through it, because I have to understand, myself and my reactions and my emotions, and how I'm going to react and how I'm going to. And I want to respond, right? Not react. So it's, yeah. But let's leave this at this, and I'll talk about this for like a minute. But the last part is that with my music, the music, I will clip this, the music, and I will make this the part 2. I will clip this even part in this, and I will say part 2, but the music. Oh yeah, well now the lighting wants to work out a little better. I hope that sun did not mess up anything to glare. The music, where the brand is where I wanted, when I fully stopped, I really wanted to get back to my music, and I made a lot of music at the time, like a lot. I'll put that link in the description too for my music. But I made a lot of music at the time. I wanted to get back to videos, and I wanted to make music. And ever since then, I made a lot of music, and then it slowed down about 3 years ago, because I was back and forth moving. I got into a relationship then that only lasted like a month or so, but long story short, after that I wrote one more song. I think that was about 4 years ago. I wrote a song, and then I got into another situation. I was drinking in between this, mind you, So I was like in this weird fucking spot. And then the last like year I was really drinking, and then I was living in this room at this guy's place while sanding hockey sticks at this factory, and I was enjoying myself there while I was making money. But then I kept trying to bring the brand back because I was fighting it, and then I really wanted to write music again, but I stopped for a good like year, or I had not stopped for that was 3 years at the time or 2 years at the time. But then I go and then I was really like struggling, drinking, like just struggling with like trying to get rent, and then I was losing my job at the time, and then at the time I couldn't really pay the rent, so I was losing the place, and then I had like 24 hours to get out. But when I lost that job, I got home within 2 weeks before I left that place. I wrote a song, and I still have it to this day, and it was my second singing song in my life, but I wanted to bring up more singing, so I wrote that singing song, and I still have it to this day from 3 years ago now, I think it is. Don't quote me on the dates, y'all. but I wrote that song, and it's been sitting in the vault ever since. And then I got into that relationship at the time. 3 weeks after that, I met this person in Port Rowan through this other person. That's another story in itself, but I don't need to get into details with it. But that's how it happened. And then I just completely focused. I told you the story. Kind of focused on that. I tried to. The studio got built. Like, there was small little things, little tiny breadcrumbs, as you will call them, which I thought they were big things at the time. But like, I noticed that it would just happen once in a while, and then I'd get back to focusing on them. So the music wasn't happening, and then I lost everything completely, mentally, physically, even more myself. Mentally, I lost myself. So then the music just kind of faded, and then I was getting angry because I've been doing my videos and my brand, but that one thing is I haven't been doing. And then later on, 7 months, almost 6 months ago, I got new teeth in my mouth, and before that happened, I was shooting videos and I was going to record, but then I really needed to get my mouth fixed, because the last time ever, my face just, my whole neck, everything in my life, I've never had that. I've had shit, but that happened, so I needed to get new teeth. So it's been depressing trying to get used to those in the past like 3 or 4 months. Now I'm good with it, so now I really want to record, and the music was, that's it. That's why. I mean, making excuses, I probably have, and it's because of me. I'm not blaming anybody else for the music part. I've had a few chances, I just haven't. And then as an artist, as you would know, how you want to release your music, and it's a personal song, and you know, once it's out there, it's out there. It's not yours anymore. It's not really it's your song, but once it's out there, it's out there. It's out there. Anybody could do anything with it. They could do anything with it, so it's not your personal thing. It's not your vault where it is, because when I wrote this song, I wrote it in like 30-40 minutes. I memorized it within 2 days, and then I was like, whoa, I need to record this. And then that happened where I had to move out, and then less than 24 hours, I was packed up with in a car, small car, heading to Port Rowan with my cats, my guitar. And then I just fucking drank like a motherfucker. It got really bad out there. I was drinking, after so long, I was drinking a lot. But and then when I quit drinking, I think that my music and writing, I had to get back to used to myself and used to things. So like, I had to get back to used to writing again, and I've written music, and I've lost the lyrics to the music. So I've written music, but getting fully back into it, I've just trying to heal from a lot of things. They're not excuses, but like, I'm gonna get back into the music. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try. I don't want to say dates or anything, because I'm just gonna try this summer. Like, I'm gonna try this summer. I'm really gonna try to focus on recording that song, so I can at least release one song, and then gives me like a 4-month, 5-month break, or 6 months or longer, that I can write another song and release it, or whatever. However I want to do it. I hope that wind's not affecting the mic, god damn it, and it doesn't fall over. But anyways, I'll end this now. I won't go any further. I thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to The Real Feel. Thanks for listening to my stories. And again, if you've made it to the end, you're crazy and I appreciate it. And please, this is no shots at anybody. If people want to think that they're a part of a story and I'm talking shit about them, if you do hear this and you do see this, I just really want to help people get out the hole. And also, I mean, if those people that are going through that shit, that have put you through that or put me through or whatever, whoever those people are, I really truly hope healing for them, and I hope they get through their shit, and I hope they, you know, figure it out and realize what's going on so they can better themselves and lives. Like, I love them too, and I hope they fucking do better for themselves. I just have to go this way sometimes, and you have to go that way because you're not getting clarification and good intentions from over here. So you're like, it will confuse you. So stop getting confused and start letting it go and going this way. And you'll thank me later. So I appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I will put my descriptions below. I will pop up my brand. I have hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, stickers. melife-shop.fourthwall.com. I will put that. Go check that site out. If you want to support me, go grab yourself some gear and fresh up for the summer, because there's some cool ass gear out there on my site. And it's good pricing for you, comfy stuff. So I appreciate the support. Leave some comments, leave some likes, and what are you struggling with right now, and what are you struggling with that you're getting by or trying to like get by, and or are you in recovery or whatever? Leave some comments below. Let's communicate, let's talk if you're in. So I appreciate y'all. Much love to everybody.